On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Getting late, man. It's getting late. All right, Rella. Is the modern man a masculine man in society?
So when you pose this question, I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm comparing him to like a traditional man, and obviously for me, I'm thinking about my granddad, and my grandma be quick to tell me like, "Baby, y'all not cut from the same stuff we was cut from." Right. And so if I
Did they
compare,
walk 20 miles to school with no shoes?
man, listen, man. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. I tell my kids how I walk to school in the snow, in 3 feet of snow, fam, and you gonna get there. Ain't no snow. What the hell is a snow day? Anyway.
My daughter ain't never walking in no snow.
But why would
I
you want
get
your
you.
kids to suffer just because you did? Shouldn't life be easier for your children? Like, isn't that the goal?
Not for men. Sometimes men.
But
It's
Anton,
certain
you literally
situations.
just said my daughter's not walking to school in some snow.
He said his daughter.
I said not for
He said
men.
not for men.
Oh, you're saying boys. Okay, so
Right.
it's different for boys.
Different for boys.
Yeah.
Is the modern man a masculine man in society? Is the modern man a masculine man in society? Start with you, Amir.
No. I would say no. The modern man has been changed into something else, hence the word modern, because traditional men, a man that's traditional today will be seen as a misogynist, as a person who hates women because they are more, how can I say this? They're more willing to lead their families. They believe more in the gender roles. They just act differently. Modern men, what I've seen today is how they're trying to change men to be more feminine and more like women. They're trying to make the modern man today, especially like the modern husband. When you think about the modern husband, you think about a man who takes the baby and he straps the baby on his chest and he walks around with the baby. This is the modern man, and that is not, I'm sorry, it's not masculine. It's not masculine because like when I think about men, especially culturally, when I think about men, if they're going to hold the kid, they're going to hold the kid. They're just going to hold them with their own hands. They're not going to strap them to their chest and push a stroller. That doesn't happen. So no, I don't believe that modern men are masculine at all. And I think there's a reason behind that. I do think that this is something that society is pushing on men. And a lot of men don't even know what masculinity is anymore because masculinity has been deemed as toxic. So yes, it's hard to be masculine when you think that everything that is masculine, everything that you do is toxic.
I want to ask you guys. I see you shaking your head. I'm going to ask you guys. This might be off topic a little bit, but man, when you're in a grocery store, do you push the cart or pull the cart?
Hey, real talk. I push and pull.
I pull, man. It's just something about pushing the cart, man. I just pull that
you
motherfucker.
said that,
man.
I'm like, dang. But I push
Not me. I jump on the back and I'm like, you know how you jump on a cart and you just keep going. You run real fast and you jump on it.
Imagine
you be grabbing that motorized cart. Those you be grabbing.
Pushing the
I just don't feel like it's my
people.
I
just like people that can on the
I just don't feel like it's my place to push. That's just me, man. I say
no. You fill it up. You fill it up with groceries. Just fill it up with groceries, and then you run real fast, and then you jump on the back of it, and you just.
Anton's like, wee!
You be terrorizing Walmart.
Okay.
If I see a man pushing a stroller, I'm sorry, I do giggle a little bit because it doesn't look right. I'm sorry. I think that strollers are meant for women, and men with the baby carriers and all of this, it doesn't look right.
Okay. We're gonna go to Kay with that one. I see you shaking your head. You got some pushback on that. What's your thoughts about is modern man a masculine man in society?
Yeah, I absolutely think that modern men are masculine men in society. I would never say that rearing your child and taking them on a walk in a stroller makes you less of a man. I don't understand that viewpoint, Amira, but I mean, you're entitled to it. I think that we have to stop. I think we should stop putting men in this box of, if you take your baby out, you're less of a man. If you push him in a stroller, you better pull it on a string behind you, because if you're pushing from the front, you're less of a man. Can you imagine? I've seen, in fact, I can't even recall seeing somebody pulling the cart. And now I'm talking about grocery carts.
I pulled it. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something else that's weird real quick. I'm gonna let you finish. Is that
okay,
I don't like being on my backside either. I don't think no man should be on their backside.
On what backside of what?
I'm talking about with they woman. He's supposed to be on their backside. He's supposed to be laying.
You talking about when you sleeping? When you laying in the bed?
No, I'm talking about when you engaged.
I mean, okay.
Oh, I know what you're
talking
saying.
about.
I got what you're saying. I got what you're saying.
If somebody is in a grocery store, I am too.
I'm not.
If somebody is in a grocery store with a shopping cart and they actually have a thought process like, people are going to think I'm less of a man if I don't pull it from the front instead of pushing it by the handle. What?
Hey, just don't push with both hands. Just push with one hand.
Like, man, just unshackle yourself from that nonsense. Push your cart. Like, really? So really, there are men out here who feel less of a man if they push a shopping cart in the way that it's functionally meant to be used. This is a thing? That's a problem.
It's a thing.
That's a problem. Like, come on. The cart is ergonomically like built to be used a certain way. And the fact that some people,
I'm the one that's in control.
You're in control if you push it from the front. The cart is an inanimate object.
I don't know doing all the work.
I don't know what you're talking about. But in terms of carts, you can definitely still be a man, JR, and push the cart by its handle.
What about the baby carrier, Kay? What about the strap to the
stroller?
Oh, like the strap one, like the strap thing that people, whatever they're called, where you can put your baby like in front of you or behind you or whatever.
Yeah.
If I see a man doing that, like walking in the park, I do not ever think, oh, he's feminine. What? That's a man and his child. That's his child. Like, how can we look at a man?
That baby be heavy as hell. You go to the auto show, don't it? You trying to carry all that damn strollers.
How can you look at a man? How can you look at a man that's taking care of his child?
You can take care of it.
Okay, how can you look at a man who's taking care of his child, carrying his child in any type of way and say, "Oh, that's feminine"? Like, we gotta grow up.
That must be buzzed.
Come on.
Hey, Kay, you know
Did
how
you
I know
say you must be buzzed, Anton?
Kay,
I don't know. Everything is starting to get funny to
Anton, you know you're not buzzed.
I don't know. I'm not. I don't feel like I am, but stuff is starting to get a little bit more funny. It's just hilarious to me.
It's getting late, man. It's getting late. All right, Rilla. Is the modern man a masculine man in society?
So when you pose this question, I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm comparing him to like a traditional man. And obviously for me, I'm thinking about my granddad. And, my grandma be quick to tell me like, baby, y'all not cut from the same stuff we was cut from. Right. And so if I compare,
they walk 20 miles to school with no shoes.
Man, listen, man. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. I tell my kids how I walk to school in the snow. In 3 feet of snow, fam, and you gonna get there. Ain't no snow. What the hell is a snow day? Anyway,
my daughter ain't never walking in no snow.
But why would you want your kids to suffer just because you did? Shouldn't life be easier for your children? Like, isn't that the goal?
Not for men. Sometimes men.
But Anton, you literally just said my daughter's not walking to school in some snow.
He said his daughter.
I said not for men.
Not for men.
Oh, you're saying boys. Okay, so it's different for boys.
Different for boys.
Yeah.